we associate reconciliation with this particular government, but as a practitioner who have done Aboriginal law since early 2000s, so for the last 20 years, I can tell you that it's a very old and a concept. It's not new. It's just that this government have decided to talk about it, to engage with the citizen, to engage with everyone actually, to make sure that this project is not only a government thing, but it is embedded in our culture, in everything we do. So now our government has announced that they would start a review of our law and policy in light of the reconciliation project with Indigenous people. So it's, as I was saying, it's a very positive thing, but it's also a very challenging period. So not only as a jurist, but also as a human, when you decide to reconcile with someone, whether it's your sister or your spouse, it will imply a lot of difficult discussion, a lot of compromise, change, transition, and to go to something new. And this is where we are right now. This is the crunch in which we are passing through. And it may be for more than a decade. It might take a generation to achieve true reconciliation, but it's, we are doing it as we speak with many things in the law, in the jurisprudence, in the way we address First Nation, in the way we sit down together to discuss how can we achieve it. So that's for one thing. The other thing I would like to bring on the table is that the government of Canada has announced not a long time ago, as you were saying, to be committed to achieving reconciliation with a renewed nation-to-nation or government-to-government and Inuit-to-Crown relationship based on recognition of rights, respect, cooperation, and partnership as the foundation for transformative changes. And it's important to understand that Indigenous people in Canada have a special constitutional relationship with the Crown. And this relationship, including existing Aboriginal and treaty rights, is recognized in our Constitution. Section 35 contains a full box of rights and holds a promise that Indigenous nation would become partners in confederation on the basis of a fair and just reconciliation between Indigenous people and the Crown. So we also have the implementation of the United Nations Declaration on the Right of Indigenous People that requires transformative change in the government relationship with Indigenous peoples. I can give you a very good example that continues to achieve a result and continue to generate a lot of discussion. In 2008, we, at the demand of First Nations in Canada, we sat down together and created a tribunal to hear First Nation claims. So before that, First Nation historical grievance could not make their way to regular courts because many historical grievance related to the loss of land for First Nation or fraud by the Crown was prescribed. Because of latches and limitation and prescription period, they could not address and file their claims with regular courts. Claims would be spent or they would be denial of rights based on procedural requirement. And so First Nation were telling the Crown, it's not fair. We were not equipped to sue you. And actually, it was forbidden by the Indian Act at that time. So we sat down together with the Assembly of First Nation, a group that represent First Nation in Canada, and we drafted an act and created a tribunal that possessed the mandate to render decision and render also decision about the validity and the compensation that shall be given by the Crown in order to compensate First Nation for their claims. And this is without regard to any rules related to the passage of time. So that's one thing that has been done, and there is now 89 files before this tribunal, and actually the vast majority of these files have been extracted from the tribunal to be negotiated. So there's a tool, and judges have been appointed to that tribunal. The Crown is the only defender, and claim are proceeding on an expedited basis in order to make sure that First Nation are compensated for these historical grievances that would not make their way to regular courts. So that's one thing that has been done. And now we are continuing and trying to find the best way to achieve reconciliation through that lens. And there might be change, I don't know, because it's a constant renewal of procedure that is being discussed with the First Nation.